everybody, welcome back to Burning Rubber Garage. I've got a big smile on my face for a lot of reasons. We have some big things coming. Hopefully some of them come sooner than later. And we've also got some big things coming for this truck, which I've been dying to share with you. This truck is a little different than the Frostbite over here. Reason being is when I do Frostbite, I try and film more of it so I can share it with you guys. This truck, when I have just a few minutes, not enough time to film, but I still want to get something done, this is a truck I come out and knock a little out, knock a little out, knock a little out. Recently, the only thing I've been knocking out are the gauges. So I know the previous owner watches these videos. I just want to say, sorry man, I'm not going to try and shame you, but at the same time, if you don't know what you're doing, get some help or take it somewhere. Almost all of these gauges were wrong. As far as not tight, in the wrong port. We've got I think it's VFX gauges. They're a Dakota Digital brand gauge. And I looked through the book. I cheated, I did. I read the manual. It's like a Bible. But I got looking through and I started with the fuel tank because I was like, nothing makes me crankier than a fuel gauge that doesn't work, because you're always like, should I fill up? Probably. Or, yeah, that gauge is wrong, so we should be good for 100. No, I don't like that. I want a gauge. So I started at the back. Probably my bad. But there's a few things I fixed along the way. I ran a new wire. The problem was they was wired incorrectly into the gauge. In the book, clearly it states, do not use this port. Do not put a wire into this port. It is not used with Dakota Digital gauges. That's what it said. Guess what was into that port? The positive wire. The ground was proper. The other wire just was in the wrong spot. Gauge works. I wired up, there's an A button and a B button. One controls this below the speedometer and one controls below the tach. There's two little, one's a tripometer, the other one has like a 0 to 60 timer, just stuff like that. So that's all working. I need to find a spot to put those. I'm going to order a bigger intake. I don't really like my intake right here. As you can see, the radiator stops here, so pulling air through right into this. I want the filter over here, so I'm looking for something to put over there. I would love to have it come over here because there's nothing over here, but I'm worried about the alternator in this tube. So we've got a few odds and ends I'm going to be working on, but the big update for this truck is, and those of you that watch the channel fairly regularly, notice that I went and did a parts run in the 97 Chevy. What I went and got is a bed for this. So it was a Chevy short bed, hauling a Chevy short bed. I don't know if I'd recommend it. It works. It was a long trip here. The hardest part was the actual bed floor. It had to go on top of my bed sides, which made strapping it down a little interesting. We only moved about an inch or two the whole 5 hours, I guess is the trip, how far away it was. And I just got in there, pushed it back like that, hit one more crank on the passenger side, and that kept it there for the rest of the trip. I stopped and checked it several times. Everything inside had multiple straps holding it in, pulling it forward. It was definitely an interesting situation. I showed up with a short bed, and Southern Kentucky's like, you're going to put a short bed in a short bed, huh? And I was like, that's what I got. That's what I'm going to do. You don't have a trailer? I didn't want to bring a trailer. So anyways, they were good. The owner never got back to me. I'm a little frustrated by that. I reached out to him probably 2-3 weeks before I was going up and said, I'd like to do some filming, kind of promote you guys, let people see you, because everybody goes to LMC Truck or Brothers. I don't think as many people go to Southern Kentucky, but he didn't even write me back after the first time. So a little bummed about that. They still have amazing employees and good product. It's just really kind of bummed that I took that drive up there, reached out plenty in advance, and got nothing back. But I'm not going to let that slow me down. That's probably the last you'll hear about it unless someone asks another question about it. As far as LMC Truck, Brothers, Southern Kentucky, I will do a video on that, especially if you want to see that. Let me know. I'll move that video off my list up a little sooner. Which one I like, what I like about it, and which one I would go back to first, second, and third. They're big. They're big in the C10 game, all of them. So this truck, though, I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous about how I'm going to get the bed put together. May have to have my one of my kids come help hold it, lift it, because the total weight of that bed kit is 600 pounds. And moving it by myself is going to be interesting. I would love to assemble it on some jack stands or something like that on the floor and lift it on, but I don't think we'll be able to lift 600 pounds. So it may get assembled on the truck. I'll kind of take you down there to the shop because that's where this is going to go so I can get started on that. And oh man, tell you what, it's going to look really good. I mean, the bed color is going to be black for a while until it can get painted or whatever, even wrapped if we need to. But it's just exciting to see this finally take shape. I don't know why the previous owner never did a bed. They're not terribly hard. They are kind of expensive. The bed kit was over $2,000, but that's all inclusive. I mean, that's everything except for, if you order a bed kit from Southern Kentucky, it comes with everything except for the fender supports. And they're not too bad anyways. I don't know why they don't put it in their kit, but they're upfront about it. They're like, hey man, it comes with everything except for this. Maybe they assume you already have them. It's a part that doesn't really rust. I don't know the reasoning. I didn't ask. But one thing I really like about this truck, and I'm not trying to come at Frostbite for anything, I'm not, is cover your ears if you have to. Don't look at me like that. I still love you. This truck starts. This truck, I usually got to pump the pedal. This one, I just get in, turn the key, fires right up. So there's something about that. I mean, I'll show you right now. One thing I really love about this is I just turn the key and I go. Overdrive makes it amazing on the highway. I haven't had any issues. Of course, the speeds out here aren't 80 miles an hour either. So, but I haven't had any issues keeping speed. I really think this truck's probably putting down all of 300 to the rear. The motor itself, out of that spec vehicle, is 320. You've got a cold air intake right here, which is awesome. Not much restriction there. I wish it was farther over to get cooler air. You've got headers, nothing else besides two mufflers back there to really add any restriction. And then you've got a little bit of a tune on it. So I would not be surprised if this thing's not throwing 300 down, if not even a little more to the rear. These respond really well to modifications. The 5.3 is a solid motor. We're running a 4-speed automatic that was mated to it at the production line. And it works really well. The shifter inside, a little clunky. I'm learning that out still. There's a spot in there where you think you'd be in drive and you're actually in neutral, so you got to pull it back one more and push it forward for overdrive, pull it back for third, but it gets in between those two. I don't know about the shifter. We'll look into some other options for that. But let's go down to the shop and I will show you the bed kit for this truck, what it entails, what it's got, and then when we do the install, I'll go more in depth, show you the tail lights, the wiring harness, everything I got for the back end of this truck. So let's head on down. So don't mind this steering wheel. We're going to get a new one here. It's just the cover coming off of it. One thing I'm really excited and I cannot wait to show you here is when I turn this key, everything works. The clock works. The RPMs, the speedometer, volts, fuel actually works, and I'm not getting an error. We got a temp gauge over here, oil. Everything works, and over here we've got our 0 to 60. It will not zoom in on that screen for some reason. Anyways, that says 0 to 60. It does not want to pick that up no matter how I go. And this one over here shows the mileage, but it won't show up for some reason. So this is the shifter. I'm not 100% sold on it. That time it went in. Usually I got to go like this. Bump. Sorry, that's really out of focus. There we go. Usually I got to pull it back, bump it up into there, and we're good to go. So we'll move out. You have to have this thing off of high idle. If you try and go in high idle, it overpowers the brakes and just smokes the tires. So it has to warm up for a second and get off that warm up idle. Let's get turned around here if we can without hitting anything. It definitely doesn't turn very well. There's the old red truck right there. So here's what I'm talking about. Neutral, back, and you'd think we're in gear. We are not in gear, so I have to go down one more and kick it up. And same spot as it was, but now we're in gear. So anyways, we'll see you down at the shop. This thing is still a power steering. You gotta love that. One palm is all it takes to turn this bad boy. So I guess that wasn't too bad of a turning radius, but We'll see as we get closer to the shop. It's a little bit of gravel going to the shop. It's really, really bouncy. we need a little weight in the bed, honestly. We've got next to nothing back there other than a full tank of gas and some frame rail. But it's really bouncy. Otherwise, I mean, if this AC worked, this would be the perfect truck. So we're just rolling down here. We're almost to the shop, which is awesome, but you can see me bouncing a little bit. It's the first time I've had this down to the shop, so I'm just hoping we don't just kind of roll out of control here. I mean, it does fine on the road, and it's very well mannered, tracks straight, accelerates like a champion, pulls down some really good fuel economy, you know, things like that. But the truck itself, when you get onto one of these kind of gravel roads, it finds every imperfection, and I think just putting a bed on the back of it would really improve this. So as you can see, there's the shop, there's the Durabird parked out ready for duty. Not really, but anyways, we'll see in a second when we get inside. It's hot. All right, it's the first time this truck's been in the shop. It's kind of nice. Get a little more room down here, a little more room to work. I got the fan on, it's really hot. You can see down here we've got the bed floor, bed sides, multiple lights, fender wells, and then there's the tailgate and the front panels. So a lot of stuff. When we do the video, we'll show you. The box itself feels like it weighs 100 pounds. You got a lot of hardware in here. I got a new light harness. Things are labeled fairly well. They're heavy. Front bed panel bolt kit. We'll get into more of that. Stuff like this we've got here. We've got brand new lights, because I really don't have anything I could save. So with that, hopefully you guys enjoy this. There she is, about to become a real truck again. Last time this truck had a bed, it was a mid-90s style bed. I'm not a fan of that. I guess for some people it looks good. For me, it's not my taste. But we'll probably drop this fuel tank, get rid of these Jeep Wrangler lights, and start setting her up. I'm not sure if we're going to try and assemble that on sawhorses, do it right here on the bed. Just not 100% sure what we're going to do, but we got a lot of parts here. There's an air conditioning unit that needs to get hooked up, and we'll get this. I've never done one of these, so it should be good. There's the old Smurf mobile, just kind of sitting there chilling. I leave the hoods up on my cars usually for that reason right there. Battery tender. Just keep the batteries fresh. That one's charging up, and then it'll probably go to that one, Camaro, over to that, and then to this guy. So anyways, with that, thanks for watching. If you can, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and we will talk with you later. See ya.